Davis Hanson is a well-known scholar and commentator who has experienced several personal losses in his life. Each loss has greatly influenced how he sees the world and lives his life. Although he is mostly recognized for his political commentary and views on military history, he has also felt the deep sadness of losing people he cares about. These experiences have shaped his personal life and have had an impact on his professional writing, giving him a special understanding of loss and grief. One of the biggest hardships in Davis Hanson's life was the death of his parents. Losing both of them can be incredibly hard. For Davis, who grew up in a close family, their passing created a void that was hard to cope with. He had a loving and supportive relationship with them, but it was also a strong intellectual bond. As a scholar, Davis often shared his thoughts and ideas with his parents, and their loss had a big impact on him. The end of an important time of support and knowledge affected Davis Hanson's writing, making it more thoughtful and insightful about life, death, and legacy. He also experienced the loss of other family members, which deeply saddened him and his community. Each loss was different, but they all took an emotional toll on Hanson as he dealt with his grief and continued his work in public life. His experiences likely influenced his view on how quickly time passes and the need to appreciate every moment with loved ones. The personal losses he faced are reflected in his work, where he often focuses on themes of sacrifice and the value of family. Davis Hanson, who has written a lot about war and its impact on people, uses his reflections on losing family members to delve into the emotional aspects of sacrifice, not just from a historical or academic standpoint, but in a deeply personal way. Losing family members brings a deep grief that can't be measured by numbers or history. It can only truly be understood through personal experience. Davis Hanson has linked his own losses to his work, adding a genuine and relatable perspective that readers and audiences connect with. While losing loved ones is something everyone goes through, for someone like Hanson, who is in the public eye, this experience can feel even lonelier despite his strong public image. When someone loses a family member, it can make them feel vulnerable. For Hanson, dealing with grief while keeping up a public image is very tough. Balancing his personal feelings with what the public expects from him has likely been difficult. However, he has shown great strength by continuing his work and sharing meaningful thoughts about the world, even as he deals with his own sorrow. In the end, the losses Hanson has experienced have deeply affected him. Hanson's experiences showcase his strength and determination. Although these events were tough, they helped him understand people and the complexities of life. By using his sorrow in his work, Hanson demonstrates that even after losing something important, we can still find purpose and keep going. His personal losses have enabled him to relate to others more deeply, giving him a more caring and practical view on life, which enriches his scholarship. Davis Hanson has faced a lot of criticism for strongly supporting traditional conservative values. He often talks about returning to the principles he believes made America great, like limited government, personal responsibility, and respect for cultural traditions. His strong criticism of the progressive left, especially their views on immigration, social justice, and identity politics, has also drawn attention. He is a controversial figure. Critics say his views are old-fashioned and do not recognize the complexities of today's social issues. For example, his views on immigration show his worry about too many migrants coming into the United States. This has faced strong pushback from those who support more open immigration policies. His critics argue that his approach is too strict and ignores the humanitarian needs of those looking for better lives, refuge in the U.S. In addition to criticism from the political left, Hanson has also faced backlash from within the conservative movement. While he is often regarded as a champion of conservative values, some have accused him of being too moderate or compromising on certain issues. For example, his views on foreign policy, specifically his support for military intervention in the Middle East, have led some of his more isolationist conservative peers to criticize him as being too interventionist. In particular, his analysis of American military actions in Iraq and Afghanistan have received criticism from both liberals and conservatives. Some people say that he does not understand the long-term effects of American foreign policy. This criticism shows the difficulty Hanson has in balancing military support with conservative values. Many of the personal attacks against Davis Hanson are quite harsh, with many critics targeting him directly. Critics often try to undermine Hanson by questioning his political views and character. They attack his background and qualifications, even though he has a strong education and is an expert in history, military strategy, and politics. His knowledge should be seen as important to public discussions. However, some people argue that his academic background doesn't qualify him to talk about current political issues. These kinds of attacks can be frustrating. It is very frustrating when debates focus on personal attacks instead of discussing the actual ideas. Even with the criticism, Hanson stands firm in his beliefs and does not back down. He strongly defends free speech and the importance of open debate, which he thinks is crucial for a healthy democracy. His ability to handle criticism shows his strong character and commitment to his principles. He sees the criticism he receives not as personal attacks, but as part of discussing complicated political ideas. In his writings, interviews, and speeches, he often speaks directly to his critics, explaining his thoughts and providing counter-arguments. This openness to having discussions, even with those who disagree with him, has gained him respect from many who appreciate honesty and bravery when dealing with challenges. In the end, dealing with criticism about his political views has become an important part of his journey. Hanson's career shows his dedication to his beliefs and his strength in defending them. Whether people agree with him or not, his ideas have greatly influenced national discussions. He speaks openly about controversial topics, which has made him a key voice in American political commentary. His experiences with criticism highlight the complicated nature of today's political environment. We live in a world where different opinions often clash, but discussing ideas openly is important for a strong democracy. One major health issue that Hanson has faced is the effects of aging. As he gets older, he has talked honestly about how years of academic and professional work have affected his body. This is something many people experience, especially those who spend long hours working at a desk. Public speaking can sometimes cause problems with posture, pain, and energy levels. Despite these challenges, Hanson encourages people to keep their minds sharp and stay involved in new ideas, even as physical health declines. He stresses the need to keep the mind active and focused, even when facing the physical issues that come with getting older. Hanson also talks about the mental and emotional effects health problems can create, especially during tough times. As someone who often reflects on both historical events and personal experiences, Hanson understands that having a long-term health issue can make a person feel vulnerable. The mental stress of health problems often forces people to change how they think and live. For Hanson, this has involved juggling his work responsibilities while taking care of his health. This balancing act hasn't always been simple, but he has shown that it is possible. Everyone has to face challenges in life, and for public figures like Hanson, this often means dealing with media attention. His health struggles are sometimes reported on, which can make coping with them even harder because of the added pressure. Despite this, Hanson has handled the situation well, focusing on his work and staying positive. A place to talk about ideas and solutions beyond just his own problems is important. Another part of his health issues relates to stress. Hanson's job includes a lot of travel, heavy thinking, and public appearances, which has added to his stress health problems. Many people in high-profile jobs face the mental and physical challenges of stress, and Hanson is no different. The ongoing demands of writing, speaking, and contributing are tough on him. Talking about public issues can affect a person's emotional health. Balancing family life and a busy career can make it harder to handle health problems. Like many people, Hanson has found ways to reduce stress, such as exercising regularly and making time for himself. These strategies help him maintain both his mental and physical well-being. Although Hanson's health issues aren't often talked about publicly, they are still important. It's important to recognize that even highly intelligent or successful people have vulnerabilities just like everyone else. They may face challenges, but it's possible to be strong in managing these issues. It's crucial to remember that health should be as important as career goals. Maintaining a healthy body and mind takes effort, no matter who you are. For Hanson, his health challenges are not just personal. They also serve as a reminder to others about the importance of taking care of oneself. Think about how health, age, and personal well-being affect not just individuals, but also the work they do in the world. Hanson has remained a strong voice in discussions about politics, history, and culture, even while dealing with his own health problems. His courage in facing these challenges while continuing to write and speak is an inspiring example of resilience and determination. Many people misunderstand Hanson's work because of his political and historical beliefs, which some critics label as conservative or reactionary. His criticisms of modern political ideas, especially those from the left, have caused others to say he is disconnected from social progress. Critics argue that his views are too traditional and do not acknowledge the need for social change. However, his supporters believe that Hanson's dedication to his principles is important. Understanding history helps us see the effects of extreme beliefs. However, there is often a gap between his detailed points and how critics simplify them, which can mislead the public about his actual views. Hanson faces criticism for his opinions on identity politics, race, and what makes America special. He believes that America's history focuses more on progress and change than on oppression, which leads some people to claim he overlooks deep-rooted problems. There are ongoing problems in society related to race and inequality. Some progressive groups feel that Hanson's views on race ignore the real struggles of marginalized communities. Hanson argues that if we only focus on past grievances, society may become divided and forget about the important values of unity and individualism in America. He believes that historical context matters, but critics often don't understand his point. Davis Hanson's commentary on foreign policy and war has created confusion for the public, especially when he criticizes current military actions. He believes that America should only use its military abroad when it's strategically important and aims to build lasting stability, not just to achieve quick political results. His viewpoint comes from a desire to be practical and to prevent unnecessary conflicts. Some people in the public and media mistakenly view Hanson's position as wanting America to withdraw from the world or as being unpatriotic. This misunderstanding has led to claims that he does not support America's leadership globally, even though he has clearly stated that the U.S. should engage in international matters but with more caution. Hanson has also encountered misunderstandings because of his criticism of modern education and how it affects young people's critical thinking skills. He values classical education and has recently argued that many modern teaching methods focus more on social justice than on strong academic standards. He believes this teaches young people to think in narrow ways instead of considering different perspectives. Critics often misunderstand his views as a rejection of progressive education. However, he is not asking to go back to old methods. Instead, he wants a more balanced approach that promotes a variety of ideas. Critical thinking should be free from biases. Another issue with how people understand things is Hanson's views on culture's role in shaping society. He believes that culture is influenced by history, traditions, customs, and values, not just politics. Because of this, some people accuse him of ignoring today's cultural changes and romanticizing a past that wasn't inclusive. However, his critics he believes that focusing on culture isn't about resisting change, but rather making sure that any progress considers its history. People often misinterpret his support for cultural traditions as being against diversity and inclusion. One tricky part of how the public views Davis Hanson is how the media presents his work. Today, the media often uses short clips and quick summaries, which can lead to misunderstandings. People often focus on their opinions, which can oversimplify Hanson's careful and complex analyses. This oversimplification creates a public perception of Hanson as a divisive figure, and many may not fully grasp his ideas, especially those who are not familiar with all of his work. Despite these difficulties, Davis Hanson has stuck to his beliefs and continues to communicate with the public and media to explain his views more clearly. He has written a lot, given interviews, and given talks to share his views clearly. Although some people might misunderstand him, Hanson stays dedicated to being honest and considering history, which helps him remain an important voice today. Fighting public misunderstanding is challenging for anyone, especially someone like Davis Hanson, but he continues to stay committed. He believes that we should think carefully and deeply about ideas and history. He struggles with how people often misunderstand him, highlighting the challenges of today's discussions where complex ideas are simplified into short phrases. This means that thinkers like Hanson have to work hard to make sure their messages are fully understood.